I wake before the alarm. I fold the blanket rinser cup and start the coffee. The apartment is small and bright. On the wall, a paper calendar reads, "Pay gas, 25. I peel a yellow note and write "buy trash bags." My name badge sits by the sink. Nora Hale, Finance. My laptop has a small scratch near the hinge. It is mine. I bought it with saved tips and overtime pay. I like order. I like knowing where my money goes. I set up for the housewarming. Plastic chairs click into place. Matching plates and cups line the table. I wipe the table until it squeaks. It is not fancy. It is clean, and it is mine. I stack forks, spoons, and napkins in small cups. The room looks simple and ready. Laura and David arrive first. Laura brings a tiny cactus. David hands me a plain picture frame. Laura looks around and smiles. "This is very you," she says. I laugh. It is very my budget. We set the cactus by the window. The frame stays empty on the shelf. Maybe later I will print a photo. My parents come in loud and warm. My mother Diane kisses the air near my cheek and glides to the table. My father Rick claps my shoulder twice and reaches for a plate. Mia follows, glossy hair, tight dress, phone in hand. Her alert tone chirps every few seconds. I try to tell them I put the furniture together myself. My mother turns to Mia. "Tell me about your new shoot," she says. Mia lights up. I step back to make room. I learned to sit on the edge of my chair so no one could see I was proud. David tells my father I led a hard project last month. My father cuts in. "Mia might get invited to a local event," he says, grinning. "She has a gift for the camera." Mia says stop it and smiles at the room. Her eyes wait for a follow-up. The follow-up comes. Laura asks me how I saved for the laptop. My mother answers for Mia instead. "A stylist picked new looks for her," she says. My hand rests on my laptop, then pulls away. Music from Mia's phone fills the quiet. Laughter follows. Laura leans close. "Nora, this is not normal," she whispers. My shoulders drop a notch. It helps to hear it out loud. Mia taps the edge of a chair and laughs. "Practical," she says. "Good for the wallet." My father chuckles. Plastic is easy to wash. Heat rises in my ears. I smooth the wrinkle in the paper table cover until it lies flat. We take a photo before they go. My mother holds the phone and angles the frame toward Mia. I am near the edge. The flash pops. The frame on my shelf stays empty. I do not ask for another shot. After the door closes, I wash the plates and cups. The sink hums. The room is quiet again. I write a new note, replace the outlet by the stove. The calendar still reads, "Pay gas, 25. I open my laptop and make a folder named Home. The screen light is soft and steady. I like the sound of water more than the sound of praise in the wrong places. A text from my mother arrives near midnight. "Can you front the gas deposit tomorrow? We are short." I mark it unread and put the phone face down. I will think about it in the morning. I will think about it in the morning. Morning comes fast. I flip the phone face up on the counter and the screen is full of alerts. One after another. Bank, bank, bank. I press my thumb and open the app. The balance shows a deep red line and a negative number that makes my mouth go dry. I do not blink for a moment. I scroll the recent activity: auto debit for gas, family phone plan, a charge at a spa, a ticket to London, a deposit at a car dealer, more small shops I do not know. The card label in the app says emergency card. My hands keep moving while my head tries to catch up. I set water to boil and miss the click. I shut the stove off and lean on the counter. I breathe and go line by line. Dates line up with last night and the week before. None of these are mine. I open my wallet and check the slots, even though I know the answer. The main card is here with me. The extra card went to my mother for emergencies months ago when she said she was scared of hospital bills. I hear my own voice from then. Only if it is urgent. Only if you call me first. I call my mother. She picks up fast and the call is on speaker. Music and clinking dishes fill the gap before her voice. Morning, she says like nothing is wrong. I keep my voice even. My account is overdrawn because someone used the emergency card. I need to know who used it and when. Silence for a beat and then a soft laugh. It is family. Do not make it a big deal. I read out a few charges with the date and time. I ask for the plan to repay today. More noise on her side. A door opens. I think I hear my father. My mother comes back and her tone is cold. You talk too much, she says. You are useless at family things. Money in this house is for all of us. My throat shuts, but I make it open. I need the statements and I need the money back today. My father cuts in from the background. Some things were urgent. Let it go. We will see later. I look at the red number again. Later is not a plan. I say I will handle it and hang up. The kitchen feels bigger now. I carry the phone to the desk and open my laptop. The screen wakes and shows a quiet blue. I make a new folder on the desktop and name it Evidence. I open it and make 4 more folders inside with simple names. Bank, messages, utilities, calls. I start with the app. I take a screenshot of each charge and save each file with the date and a short tag. Gas, family plan, spa, London, dealer deposit, retail unknown. I keep the names plain so I can search them later. I open a spreadsheet and build 4 columns. Date, place, amount, notes. I type in each row. My fingers are still a little shaky in the first 5 lines. Then they calm down. I sort by date and watch a pattern appear. Charges line up with times when I was at work and at home. None when I was with the card. I highlight the items that match Mia posts and messages. There is a photo from last week where she joked about packing for London. I move that image to the folder messages and rename the file with the day and hour. I pull last night's text from my mother that asked me to front the gas deposit and save it in the same place. I open a new note and type the exact words I just heard. It is family. Do not make it a big deal. You are useless. Money in this house is for all of us. I read the lines once and leave them as they are. No edits. I call the bank support line and report the card as compromised. I ask to freeze the extra card and to flag the charges I did not make. The agent reads the list back to me. I confirm each one and write the reference number into my spreadsheet. I end the call and take a photo of my calendar where paygas 25 is written in marker. I drop that into utilities. I print the account summary to a PDF and save it in bank. I sit still for a moment and check my breath. In and out. No rush, no drama. I send myself an email with the evidence folder catalogue in the body, so there is a timestamp outside my computer. The phone buzzes once. A new message from my mother. Call me. I let it sit. The kettle is still warm, so I make tea and set it by the laptop. I look at the folder again. It is small, but it will grow. I say the words out loud in the empty room, so I remember how this feels and what I chose. I do not raise my voice. I open my laptop. I do not raise my voice. I open my laptop. I close the lid again and put on my shoes. The apartment is too quiet. I want to check one thing before I keep building the file. The hallway smells like cleaner and warm dust. When I slide my key into the lock from the outside, the door gives before the key turns. It is already unlocked. Inside, the television glows on low volume. Mia is stretched across my sofa like she owns the air in the room. Her heels are off. Her phone lights up every few seconds. There is a passport on the coffee table open to her photo. Shopping bags with shiny logos crowd the floor. How did you get in? I ask. She yawns like she had a long nap. Mum gave me the spare key, she says. I needed a change of scene. I look at the key hook by the door. A new tag hangs there that says, "Home" in letters I did not write. My chest goes tight and then flat. I do not explain anything to her. I go straight down to the garage. My steps echo. I walk to my spot by memory. B12. The space is empty. The oil stain is the only sign of my car. Fresh tracks cut the dust in two thin arcs. I stand still until a camera above the ramp clicks with a tiny sound. I lift my phone, take a photo of the empty space and the painted number, then take another that includes the column and the stall next to mine so there is context. I write the time in my notes. I call my mother while I am still down there. She answers on speaker again. "Where is my car?" I ask. She does not hesitate. "Your father sold it," she says. "Mia needs to go to London to clear her head." I swallow hard. "Who signed the papers?" I ask. "Who gave permission to sell a car that is not theirs?" My mother sighs like I am being dramatic. "In this family, what is yours is ours," she says. Do not start. You always nag like someone who cannot handle simple things. The word useless sits heavy in the air even if she does not say it this time. I ask for the bill of sale, the dealer named the amount. Silence. Then the tone turns sharp. "Stop demanding. Be a decent sister." She hangs up first. I stand with the phone in my hand and the empty space in front of me. Then I move. I call the building office and ask to request camera footage from the last day for my level and ramp. The manager gives me an email to send a formal note. I send it while I wait for the elevator. I copy my lawyer Priya Patel and ask her to advise on the next step. When the elevator doors open, I see my face in the metal. It looks calm. Back in the apartment, Mia is watching a video about London street food. I pick up the passport and place it next to the bags without a word. Then, I open the front door and hold it. "Out," I say. "Now." She laughs like I made a joke. "You are serious," she says. I nod. "This is my home. You do not stay here. You do not use the spare key." She starts the old lines. "I am fragile. I need family. This is a hard time. Anybody else would help." I do not argue. I repeat the same sentence. "Pack your things and go." She tries one more angle. "Mum said it is fine." I hold out my hand. "The spare key," I say. She hesitates and then fishes a small key from her purse. I put it in my pocket. I call a locksmith while she shuffles around the room. I book the earliest slot for a full cylinder change and ask for new keys made on site. I save the confirmation and drop it into my evidence folder under Utilities. I take photos of the key I just took back and of the new tag on my hook. I write a short note to go with them. "Spare key used without consent. Source mother." I open the window to clear the heavy air. Mia zips her bag and glares at me. "You will feel bad about this," she says. I do not answer. She walks past me. The bags make a soft crackle, and then the hall swallows her footsteps. The door closes. I lock it and test the deadbolt twice. My hands are steady. I sit at the table and plug my phone into the laptop. I save the garage photos and label them with the date and time. Then, I open a new page in my spreadsheet. I add 2 rows. Car missing. Space B12 empty. Call with mother. Father sold the car. Family claim shared property. I write down her exact line so I will not soften it later. "In this family, what is yours is ours." I add a note that says, "Request for bill of sale refused." I attach the email thread with building management and my lawyer. The kettle is still warm from earlier, so I pour water over a tea bag and set the cup near my trackpad. I look around the room the way you do when you check damage after a storm. Nothing is broken. The worst part is not visible. It sits in the idea that someone can walk into my space and treat my work like a community fund. I send a short message to Priya. "Car sold without consent. Spare key used to enter. Evidence attached. Please advise on report to police and civil claim. She replies with an auto note that she is in a hearing and will call by late afternoon. That is fine. I do not wait by the phone. Not wait. I clean the coffee table and put the passport imprint square in the middle of it, back in a drawer where it belongs. Then I open my calendar and add a line for the locksmith visit. I add another reminder to change the door code to the garage gate and to ask the building to remove all old names from my buzzer. I sit down again and read what I wrote. The room is very quiet. I say one sentence out loud so I will not forget it when things get loud again. No one gets to swipe my goodwill again. I start with the bank. I call support and ask for a separate dispute case for every charge I did not make. The agent reads each item and I confirm dates and amounts. I write every case number in my sheet and ask to freeze any extra cards and add manual review on the account. I change the account password to a long sentence I will remember and turn on two-factor. I remove every unknown device. I do the same for my email cloud drive, phone carrier, and streaming accounts. I keep a simple log with the service, the time, and a short note. I save the log in my evidence folder. I open the utility portals. I delete my card from gas and send a clear message. From the 1st of next month, I will not pay for this address. Please close the payment profile under my name and send a final bill to the user. I take a screenshot and save it. I repeat for electricity, water, and internet. For the family phone plan, I call. I tell the agent I want my number on a single plan under my name. I cancel the other lines that hit my card. We pass security. I pay the small fee and accept a plan I choose. I save the confirmation and write the order number into my log. I email the building office, change the garage code, remove all names but mine from the buzzer, issue a new access card. I save their reply with pickup time. I download the forms to remove a joint signer from utility accounts that still list me. I fill them, sign, attach my ID, and request a final meter read. The auto replies land in my inbox. I save each one. I print the list of disputed charges to a file and on paper. I sort pages by type and mark each with a sticky note. Gas, phone, retail, dealer, flights. I write the amount on each corner and star items that match the dates of Mia posts. I take a quick photo of the stack. I slide the pages into a clear sleeve and then into the binder. I open my timeline and add a new tab named Changes. I list each step with a timestamp. I book an hour with Dr. Foster for the afternoon. When I sit in her office, she asks one question. When did you start being the adult for them? 16, I say. I tell her about the shut-off notice on our door and my late shift at the diner and the white envelope of cash at the counter window. I say the clerk stamped paid and I walked home and put the receipt on the table and no one said thank you. She nods and asks how my body feels now. Steady, I say. A little sad. Also clear. She says the same muscle that carried them is now carrying me. I leave with a time for next week. Back home, the locksmith confirms the lock change for tonight. I send my lawyer Priya a summary. I froze payment routes. I removed my card from autopay. I requested final statements. I split my phone line off the family plan. I changed passwords and turned on two-factor for all key accounts. I attached the timeline, the bank dispute list, and screenshots of all confirmations. I ask for steps on a police report for the car and a civil claim for the value and for the unauthorized charges. I send the email and watch the bar finish. I take the printed pages from the tray and square the stack. The binder is heavier now. I put it in the drawer. I check the calendar on the wall where it still says, Pay Gas 25. And I smile because that line has moved from duty to note. I set a reminder to check the bank at day end. I open the window and let new air in. I read the password log one more time. My shoulders drop. The room feels like mine again. I send Laura a short text. I took action today and will be offline for a while. She writes back, "Proud of you." I finish my tea and think of that girl of 16 in a line with a bill in her hand. I say one line so I do not forget the point of all this. I am not angry. I audit. My phone lights up on the table with a string of silent banners. Family group name changed. I tap it, and a grey bar says only admins can post. My name is not in the member list. The icon shows 3 faces without mine. I stare for a second and then let the screen go dark. A message from Harper pops up right after. She sends a screenshot of a new group with my parents and Mia at the top. Lines run under it. Nora is stingy. Nora is useless. Who sues family? She adds a note. I thought you should see this. I do not reply yet. I open my laptop and make a new subfolder in evidence called Messages Social. I save Harper's image and rename the file with the date time and the tag group smear. I add an entry in my timeline sheet for motive after money cut. The phone buzzes again. My mother posts a vague status on her page. The ones you love hurt you the most. Under it are comments from her friends and cousins. Ungrateful kids. Money goes to her head. Poor Mia. I scroll slow and take a screenshot of every view. I include the time and the name of each person who comments. I save the images in order and write the link into a small note. I do not argue in the thread. I do not like or react. I move to Mia's profile. There she is at the airport with a new suitcase and a caption about London mood. A second image shows a branded store wall. The timestamp lines up with the flight charge and one of the retail hits from my disputes list. I take screenshots and drop them into a folder under Social Mia. I go back to my sheet and highlight those rows in yellow. The pattern is plain. I hear a voice call come in. The name is an aunt I have not seen since a wedding years ago. I let it ring to voicemail. 2 more calls from numbers I do not know follow. Then a text tells me to call back and be decent. I save the voicemail and use a tool on my phone to get the words out in text. I save both audio and text in evidence calls with the date and source. I sit with my hands flat on the table and listen to my breath. In and out. No rush, no defense speech. I take a small sticky note and write a rule. No comment policy. Do not post, do not reply. Save and send to counsel. I stick it on the bezel of the laptop. Then I write Harper a short message. Thank you for the screenshot. Please keep the original in your phone and do not edit it. She replies fast. Of course. I have more if you need it. Also, this is not normal. I stand with you. I thank her and stop there. I do not dump my day on her. I open my email and write to Priya with the subject's social context. I attach the group shot my mother's status thread and Mia's check-in images, plus the voicemail files. I write 2 lines. For your awareness. This shows motive and a pattern of public shaming after I cut off payments. I ask if I should preserve anything else in a formal way. I hit send. I switch to my own profiles and lock them down. I set privacy to friends only. I turn on login alerts. I turn off auto tags and review every tag before posting. I download a copy of my profile data and save the archive in the evidence route. I check Slack and email at work to see if anything odd has leaked there. Nothing yet. I draft a calm 2-line note to HR in case I ever need it. It says a family legal matter is ongoing, and if any contact reaches the office, I will route it through counsel. I leave it in drafts. The phone vibrates with a new post from Mia, a clip of takeoff through the window. I catch the time and save it. I add 1 more line to my timeline sheet. Social post aligns with flight out. I open a clean document and write a short log of what I did this hour. Kicked from group, new group insults, mother vague status, Mia travel posts, evidence saved, council notified, phones locked down. I check the clock and drink some water. My jaw aches. I unclench it and feel the muscle let go. A cousin messages me through a different app and says, "Family does not go to court." I do not respond. I screenshot it and save it. A friend of my mother sends a long text about forgiveness and says I should remember who raised me. I save that too. I look at the growing list of files. It is not joy and it is not pain. It is mass. It proves a sequence and a reason. I sit back and look at the sticky note on the laptop. It helps to see the rule in ink. I let them talk. I save every word. I open my calendar and block 1 hour tomorrow to review social again in case things are deleted. I also block 30 minutes to write a short statement for Priya that explains the smear without emotion. Just facts, screenshots, times, names. I message Harper one more time and tell her I may list her as a witness to the group messages if needed. She says yes and asks if I am safe. I say yes. I am home. Locks change soon. She sends a heart. I put the phone face down. I take a breath and listen to the quiet shift of the building. I close my eyes and see the words stingy and useless scroll by like ticker tape. I do not push them away. I label them and place them in the folder where they belong. Then, I open my email and find Priya's auto-reply that she will review social exhibits with the rest of the file. Good. I shut the laptop and write one last line on a small card for my desk. Speak only to record facts. Everything else gets filed. I tuck the card under the keyboard and wash my hands at the sink. The night is not loud anymore. It is firm. In the morning, I carry the evidence binder and my printed timeline to Priya Patel's office and sit in the lobby 5 minutes early. When she opens the door, she greets me with a steady voice and a short nod. I place the binder, the timeline, and a 1-page list of losses on her desk. I keep my notes short so I can say the facts in order. The emergency card was used without my consent. The spare key was used to enter my home. My car is gone and my mother said my father sold it, so Mia could travel to London. After I cut money lines, they mocked me online. Priya listens without interrupting, then pulls a legal pad closer. She says we are dealing with 3 tracks. First is the car. That is an unlawful taking and sale of property without the owner's consent. We will pursue civil recovery for the value of the car and related costs like the locksmith fee, transport costs and loss of use. Second is the card activity. That is unauthorised use of a payment instrument and may touch identity misuse. We will push the bank disputes forward file sworn statements for each item and place a freeze on my credit files to be safe. Third is the online smear. We keep those records to show motive and state of mind. If needed later, we can send a demand to take down specific posts. For now, we focus on money and property. She taps the binder. This is good, she says. Clear, naming timestamps and images. Then, she lays out a plan of action in layers. Bank layer. Finish dispute packets for each charge. Attach my sworn statement. Track response dates. Government layer. File a police report for the car and the unauthorised use of the spare key. Get a case number. Request a vehicle history from the registry to check for any change of title or any lien. Evidence layer. Send preservation letters today to the building manager for garage video and to any dealer or private party who may have touched the sale. Ask them to keep camera footage at the exit and at the counter and any bill of sale. Civil layer. Draft a demand letter to my parents and to Mia that lists the sums due and gives a firm deadline. If they do not pay, we file a civil claim for conversion of property and for reimbursement of unauthorised charges and fees. Safety and contact layer. I will not speak to them without counsel present. No private meetings. Save all calls and texts and forward them to the shared folder. I ask what she needs from me right now. She lists 4 items. A police report for the car with photos of space B12 and the date and time. a sworn statement for each bank charge I dispute signed and dated, a short letter that requests the building to hold the garage video, and a list of cameras by number, which she will also send on her letterhead. A request to the vehicle registry for a printout of the vehicle history, by plate and vehicle number. She slides forms across the desk. I fill basic fields and show my ID. She scans it and hands me a pen for the limited authorization so she can talk to the bank, the registry, and the building on my behalf. I sign. She repeats one rule while I sign. Feelings later, now comes order. I nod and say it back so it sticks. She opens my loss list and asks for details. We sort losses into 2 groups. Direct losses include the car, value the specific card charges I did not make, and any bank fees. Restoration costs include the locksmith new access card fees for plan changes with the carrier printing and mailing and any transport I had to book while without a car. She asks if work time was lost. I tell her I kept working and put calls on breaks, but if I miss time later, I will log it. We agree to use conservative numbers and to attach proof to each line. She circles the total at the bottom and writes estimate pending more records. Then she sets a schedule. Today, we file the police report and send preservation letters. In 2 days, we expect written replies from the building and from any identified seller if there was a dealer. In 5 days, she wants the registry printout. In 10 days, the demand letter deadline will expire. If no response or a refusal arrives, she files suit the next business day. She asks me to keep the no comment policy online and not to engage with any bait. She reminds me that any message I send can be twisted and that silence is a shield when evidence is clear. I agree. She sets up a shared folder and asks me to drop all new items there with simple names. She will mirror the folder in her case system. We confirm how to reach each other if anything urgent comes up. Email during the day and a call to her assistant after hours only if there is a new security issue. She prints a packet for me with a checklist on top. Police report with photos. Bank sworn statements. Building preservation letter. Registry request. I place the packet in my bag and stand. My shoulders feel lower than when I walked in. In the lobby, I sit for a minute, take a photo of the checklist, and upload it to Evidence Plan. I add each task with a due date to my timeline. Then I send Laura one sentence. I have a plan now. I am okay. On the way home, I stop at the police station and wait for my number. When it is my turn, I give the report about the car and the spare key access, and I hand over printed photos of the empty space and the dates. The officer gives me a case number and I take a photo of the slip. Back at my desk, I fill the sworn statements for the bank disputes. I write the date the merchant, the amount and the reason not mine. I sign each page and scan them into the folder. I email the building the preservation letter, pre-drafted, and copy her. I fill the registry request form online and pay the small fee. I save the confirmation pages and drop them into the binder. I sit back and breathe once the send bars clear. The office is quiet. The plan is in motion. I say the line again because it is the only way I can stay steady. Feelings later. Now comes order. I drive to my parents' place and park by the curb. The house looks the same as always with the small porch light and the narrow path to the door. I knock once, and my mother opens right away like she's been waiting. My father stands behind her with his arms folded. I say I will be brief and step inside. The kitchen smells like old coffee. The table still has the faint ring from a cup that sat there for years. I set a thick envelope on that table and slide out the stack. I place the loss list on top, then the photos of the empty garage spot and the time I took them. Then the letter to preserve camera footage that Priya already sent. Then the printouts of disputed charges and the sworn statements I signed. Then screenshots of the group chat where they called me stingy and useless. then the vague post from my mother where her friends piled on, then my timeline that ties each item to a date and a reason. I put my phone on the table with the screen lit so the recorder icon shows. I say I am recording for accuracy. My mother says that is not necessary. I say it is. I point to each page and use one sentence for each point. This is property in my name that was sold without my consent. These are charges on the emergency card that I did not make. These are public messages that attacked me after I stopped paying for your bills. Here is the total and how I got it. Here is the demand letter with the amount due and the deadline. My mother starts with a soft voice. She says families help each other. She says Mia is in a fragile state. She says, I know how hard things have been. My father adds that he will sort it out and that I should not be harsh. I do not answer those parts. I point to the circle around the deadline on the letter. I say the date out loud. My mother changes tone. She says I am making a scene and that I am breaking the family on purpose. She says I am ungrateful after all they did. My father says taking this outside makes the family name look bad. I hear the words and feel nothing new. I say one line at a steady pace so it is clear on the recording. I am not killing the family. I am ending the way this family has been killing me. I say that love does not replace clear ownership. I say love does not mean signing a blank page. My mother says some things are above money. I say food and rent and a car you use to go to work are not above money. They are money. My father steps closer and taps a finger on the table but does not touch the papers. He asks what I expect them to do with a number like this. I say, you can sell things you bought with my money, or you can make a plan with counsel, or you can ignore the letter and I will file. I add that Priya will take all calls from now on. My mother reaches for the photo of the garage bay. I let her look and then I take it back and put it under my hand. I do not raise my voice. I do not add extra words. I do not tell old stories. I only keep the facts on the table. Through the open window, I see a neighbour pause on the sidewalk. She glances in and then looks away like the air is heavy. It is a small thing, but it makes the room go quiet for a breath. I slide a clean copy of the demand letter toward my father and place Priya's card on top of it. I say all next contacts should go to that number or that email. I say, do not call me to discuss this. Do not visit my home. Do not post about me. If you do, those records will join the file. My mother says the word traitor. My father says we raised you. I say I remember paying the electric bill at 16 with tip money when no one else did. That was the first time I covered this house. That was a long time ago. My mother asks if I am done. I say yes. I put the stack back in the envelope one section at a time. I take a quick photo of the layout of the papers on the table, so there is a record of what I showed and what I left. I stop the recording and save it with the date. I pick up the envelope and the spare copy of the letter stays where I placed it. I step to the door. On the porch, a neighbour who knows my name keeps her eyes on the walkway and nods a small hello. I nod back and pass her. No one follows me outside. In the car, I sit for a minute and write a short summary to Priya. Delivered demand letter at family home. Showed loss list photos, call, logs, social posts, timeline. Recorded meeting. They argued, used guilt language, made the usual claims about family. No threats of harm. I attach the photo of the table and the audio file to the email and send it. Then I open my timeline and add an entry that says in person, delivery of demand letter, with date and time and location. I drive home with the window cracked and try to feel my hands on the wheel. Back in my apartment, I lock the door and add the new items to the evidence folder. I write one line on a small card and place it where I can see it when I sit down to work. Love does not mean signing a blank page. The words sit there and do not move. I breathe and wait for the small drop in my chest that means the body is catching up to the brain. It comes. I text Laura 2 words, "Delivered today." She replies good and asks if I need anything. I say no. I am fine. I put water on the stove and stare at the calendar, then at the clock. I know what happens next if they do not pay. I do not rehearse it out loud. I have already done the work to make that step possible. 2 weeks later, I walk into the courthouse with Priya, and we sit at the front. The clerk calls our case and the judge asks for short answers, tied to documents. Priya gives a clean frame. Property, first card use, next online context, last all in time order. On the screen, the bank statement fills the wall. Every disputed charge carries a case number and time. Priya points to the flight purchase and later retail hits, and notes they match travel posts the same day. The bank representative confirms the alerts use times and my same-day report and explains the dispute steps already open on my account. Priya enters my sworn statements for each charge and the reference list as one exhibit. She moves to the car. A photo of my empty garage stall B12 appears with a clear timestamp. She presents in one bundle the preservation letter and reply from the building the registry request and response and the record demand sent to the likely seller. She files the police report that states the vehicle was sold without the consent of the registered owner, then adds the locksmith invoice and proof of transport costs while I had no car. Last, she shows a single slide for context. A screenshot from the new family group calling me stingy and useless, my mother's vague status with blame in the comments, and a short airport clip from Mia that aligns with the flight charge. She says we are not asking for a ruling on defamation today. These items show motive and the state of mind after I cut money and help explain why my property and card were treated as shared. The judge turns to the other table. Their lawyer says it was family sharing and that I am ungrateful, citing Mia's crisis. The judge asks if there is any written consent from me to sell the car or to use my card at will. There is none. The judge confirms with the bank rep that the emergency card is part of my account and that I am the main owner. Priya confirms the card is frozen and my access is secured. The judge asks if I wish to add anything. I stand and keep it short. The car is how I get to work. The card was for emergencies. I asked for the money back and to stop and was told it was all family and that I was useless. I sit. Priya makes our request in clear lines. Full compensation for the car at fair market value reimbursement of the unauthorised charges and bank fees, reasonable restoration costs, including locks and building access and court costs. An order to bar any access to my accounts, devices, services, keys or codes, and to route any money contact through counsel. Enforcement permission if payment is not made by the deadline. The judge looks down, writes for a moment, and then speaks. The court finds the vehicle was sold without the owner's consent, and the payment card was used without authorization. The court orders payment of the full value of the car based on a mid-market valuation reimbursement of the unauthorized charges and related fees and costs. The court orders the defendants to cease all access to my account's devices and services and to return any keys and codes. The court sets a payment deadline and warns that if payment is not made, enforcement will proceed and property may be taken to satisfy the judgment. The clerk stamps the order. The gavel falls once. I do not smile. I let air out of my chest and keep my hands still. Priya slides the order to me and circles the deadline. We step into the hall. I take a photo of the case number and email it to our shared folder, so there is a time mark outside my laptop. I open my timeline and add one entry. Judgment entered, orders granted, deadline set. Justice does not hug me. It only stops their hands. We plan next steps in the elevator. Priya will send a certified copy to their counsel and start the clock. I will wait and keep logging anything new. Outside, the light is ordinary, and I am fine with ordinary. I drive home and set the order on my desk. The binder that used to be thin is now a full record, and it will do the talking from here. The binder is full now. It will do the talking. That night, my phone fills with missed calls that all drop to voicemail. I sit at my desk and open the inbox. I download the voicemails in one batch, run transcripts, name each file by date, and caller tag any threat, and save everything in evidence calls. I do not reply to anyone. I open a sheet called Rumour Log with 4 simple columns for source summary level action. I add what I can verify. An aunt says I broke the family. A cousin writes that I sued for attention. A friend of my mother posts a story about a cold daughter. 2 relatives remove me from their lists. I mark action as no reply archived. A text from an unknown number says I should be ashamed. I take a screenshot, save it, and add the number to blocked. My breath stays steady. Harper sends a short message. You are not crazy. You just stopped paying for other people. The line lands and my jaw loosens. I thank her and ask her to keep original screenshots with timestamps. She says yes. I write 1 note on a card and stick it to my screen. No public comments, no private debates, save and send to council. I tighten privacy on all accounts and turn on login alerts, tag review and filters for unknown contacts. My mother posts a new status about a home torn apart by money. The comments blame me and comfort her. I capture the full thread and save it in Evidence Social with the date and link. I note in the rumour log that the smear continues after judgment. A new voicemail is different from the rest. A low voice says, I will be sorry. I save the audio and transcript and tag it as threat. I email Priya with the clip and the text and ask for next steps if it repeats. She replies that I should log all of them and that any direct threat can be added to my case report. She reminds me not to reply to the sender. I do not. I check work mail and Slack. No spillover. I draft a calm note to HR that I will send only if needed, stating that a family legal matter exists and any contact will go through counsel. I leave it in drafts. Harper sends more screenshots from a second thread, where my parents repeat their version. I save the images and write 1 line in the timeline. Post-judgment narrative building by family. I block 2 more numbers that repeat the same insults and add them to the blocked list. The phone goes quiet. I step outside and walk for 20 minutes to settle my body. Back home, I breathe slowly for a few minutes and then add a section named Aftershock to the binder. I place a print of the rumour log at the front and a 1-page memo with my no comment policy. I write 1 sentence at the bottom so I will see it every day. Silence is not hiding anymore. It is my new wall. In the morning, there are fewer messages. 1 relative says that family does not go to court. I save it and do not answer. A co-worker checks in. I tell her I am fine and working. It is true and plain. I send Priya a small update with the newest captures and the list of blocked numbers. She replies that she has added them to the file and reminds me we are still inside the window for voluntary payment. If nothing arrives by the deadline, she will move to enforce. I mark the date on my calendar. It is not hope. It is a clock. That afternoon, a friend of my mother leaves a long voicemail about grace and duty. I listen once, save it and archive it. The policy holds. No public comments, no private debates, save and send to council. I make a simple dinner and sit at the table with the binder closed. The room is quiet. Victory did not make me happy. It made space. I will use that space well. Before bed, I check the bank app. No new hits. I power the phone down and leave it in the kitchen. The night is steady. If the messages slow down, I will keep the quiet. If they rise to a threat, not, I will add them to the report. Either way, I will not let them set my words or my time. The file will speak when needed. I set up a warm, simple workspace with a lamp and a small bookcase, then slide the record binder on the bottom shelf and leave it closed. I keep my day job and open a part-time service at night and on Saturday mornings. I hang a small wooden board and write clients in chalk, then 3 lines under it. Account cleanup. Cut harmful autopay. Debt plan. I design a plain card that reads, "Hail Financial" with my email and a short promise to help families and small shops get their money in order. I set rules in writing, prepaid scoped sessions only, no midnight emergencies, no passwords held by me. Laura sends the first client, a single mother trapped in a family plan and shared bills. On a short call, I list what must be paid, what can pause, and what to cut. I build a simple timeline for her hand, her a script to request final bills, and close accounts turn on 2-factor and lock out old devices. 4 autopays go away that night. A week later, she messages that she saved her first small amount and slept through the night. She writes a short review I file in a folder called Wins. David sends the second client, a cafe owner, who ends every week short on cash. We reset his cash flow calendar, ask the processor for a lower rate and pause an app that does not pay back its fees. I give him a small debt ladder. 6 weeks later, his week ends positive. He lets me write a case note with steps and numbers. I see Dr. Foster and tell her what I am building. We talk about the line between rescuing and giving tools and about using one skill in the right place. The sentence that fits is simple. I turn the ropes that once tied me into guidelines for other people. I buy a car again. I test 2 used sedans and choose the one that starts clean and stops clean. I make a solid down payment from savings, not from any judgment funds, and take a schedule I can meet. I store the car spare key in a small lockbox by my door and write in my notebook that this car is for my work and my life. No loans to family, no exceptions. I book the first service log, the date file, the title, and lock the drawer. I print a small sign that says, "Account, only I use it and set it by my screen." I register a simple sole business and open a bank account just for Hail Financial. I set invoice numbers and a lien ledger. Tuesday and Thursday evenings are for calls. Saturday mornings are for intake and planning. Sundays are off and I keep that boundary. I label one shelf, clients 1, templates 1, invoices. I print a starter kit for new clients 1 page each. A checklist to close autopay, a sample email to ask for final bills, a short privacy note. Laura and David keep sending people. A teacher whose cousin hurt her credit with a shared card. A barber who needs rent due dates to match his strong days. A retiree paying for 3 streaming accounts for her grandson without knowing. The board feels 2 weeks ahead. After each session, I end with a handoff list so the client sees what to do next without me. 3 5-star notes land on my page, and I pin them on the board with dates. I park the sedan in my marked spot, lock it and hang the key on my hook. The space holds. I do not feel lucky. I feel steady. I open my ledger. 20% of each month goes to an emergency fund. 10% to a small joy fund. The rest covers rent and life. I add the next service date for the car to my calendar. I send Laura and David a thank you and ask them to keep me honest if I drift from my rules. They say they will. I take stock of the room. The board shows names, times, and check marks. The shelf is organised. The phone is quiet. I am not fixing a storm anymore. I am running a schedule and teaching order. The message to clients stays the same. I will help you take the wheel. I will not drive your car. The message to myself stays the same too. My accounts are mine. My time is mine. My decisions are mine. The work grows, but it grows inside the lines I set. I am not running anymore. I am building. Rain hits the window and the phone lights with a voicemail from my mother marked urgent. I let it finish and press play. Her voice is fast and raw. Your father fell. We are at the county hospital. No insurance. Help, now. Old reflex starts and I stop it. I text Harper for facts first. Which hospital? Which entrance? What time? Please send a photo of the unit sign or the wristband with private details covered. She replies within minutes. County General, emergency. She sends a photo of the ER sign and the waiting room board with the hour visible. I batch save the screenshots with timestamps to evidence and add one line to my timeline. I call the main number and ask for emergency registration. I give my father's name and ask only to confirm intake and general status. I say I am not the financial guarantor. The clerk confirms he is being evaluated. I ask for the medical social worker on duty and the number for the financial office. I note names and times and save brief call notes to evidence. The social worker picks up. I ask what help exists for people without coverage. She lists the paths and clear steps. Hospital charity care, a payment plan with no interest if the application is made within the first month. County funds for short-term need, a screening for emergency Medicaid if income fits. She says care is not withheld for lack of a deposit and gives a link to the online form The Office Hours and a direct desk number for daytime calls. She lists what the office will need. Identification, a piece of mail, any proof of income. I thank her and say I am a family member who will not be the payer. I ask what exact sentence my parents should say at the desk. She dictates a line. We want to apply for financial help. Please give us the forms and a time to meet. I write it word for word. I prepare a small packet, links and phone numbers at the top, a list of documents to bring, a short script for desk and phone. I add the 211 line and 2 local groups that can help with rides and small needs. I send the packet to my mother by text and by email and copy Priya so it is on the record. My message is short and clear. I hope Dad heals soon. I am not returning to the old role. I will help through the proper channels, not with my wallet. Work with the social worker and the financial office. I offer 1 hour of form help by video tonight from 8 to 9. After that, please route questions through council or the hospital. I set do not disturb and allow only the hospital and Harper to ring through. My mother replies at once. You are cold. This is family. I answer with one line and stop. I sent links and numbers. Please meet the social worker. I can help with forms during the 1 hour window. Please route other questions through council. I do not add a defence. I check bank alerts and my credit freeze and see all clear. I log that line and close the app. The phone buzzes. Another message asks me to wire a small amount to hold the bed. I call the social worker back to verify. She says no deposit is required and repeats the form name and office hours. I add that note to the packet and reply to my mother with the same single line. Work with the social worker. I can help with forms during the 1 hour window. I will not send money. A minute later, she replies with one word. Received. I batch save the exchange to evidence and send Priya a short summary that I verified intake spoke with the social worker, sent a resource packet, and declined to transfer money. She replies that this is the correct approach and to keep records. At 8, I open the video link and wait. No one joins. At 8:30, I send one reminder that I will stay on for 30 more minutes. No reply. At 9, I end the call and log that the offer expired. The boundary holds and my pulse is even. Harper checks in and says, the hospital spoke with them and they have the links and numbers. I thank her and ask her to keep the original photos. I lay out tomorrow's card stack and set my bag by the door. I mark the hospital call times on my timeline so the record is clean. One last text comes from my mother. We will go to the office in the morning. I reply with a simple good. Then I turn off the lamp and leave the phone in the kitchen. The rain keeps up, but my head is quiet. I helped the right way, and I did not hand over my wallet. The line I drew did its job. A year passes. It is my birthday. Harper brings a small cake with one candle. Laura and David come with a card. We stand in my bright living room and keep it simple. We sing softly. I blow the candle, we share the cake. The car key rests on its hook. The service date is taped on the wall next to it. The client shelf holds neat folders labelled Clients, Templates, Invoices, Wins. The old binder stays closed. I have not needed to open it this year. Work is steady. The board is full for 2 weeks, but nights and Sundays stay free. My accounts are clean. Email alerts work. The phone goes on, do not disturb, at night. I sleep. We talk about small, clear things. Laura's plant finally grew new leaves. David says the cafe owner is still ending weeks in the black. Harper raises her cup. To clear lines, she says. To using what we have right, I add. After they leave, I rinse 3 plates and wipe the table. I stand by my desk and look at the first note I ever taped there. Account, only I use it. It started as a shield. Now it is just how I run my life. I open the wins folder and read a few lines. A single mother saved her first 300. The cafe owner posted 6 straight weeks above zero. A retiree cancelled 3 unneeded subscriptions and bought new shoes. Small, clean numbers. I touch the key on the hook and sit down. My circle is small and real. Harper, Laura, David, a few clients who send short notes when something clicks. There are still posts out there that say I broke the family. Some cousins still do not speak to me. I do not chase them. I do not open threads. I keep my time for people who use help to stand up. I check the calendar. Client calls on Tuesday and Thursday, intake on Saturday morning. No changes. I add 1 line at the top of next month. Boundary check. I breathe and say my ending out loud because I want to hear it here in this room. When I stopped funding chaos, they called me useless. Being useless to people who only take turned out to be useful to my life. I do not need them to stop calling me useless. I only need to stop believing it. I slide the wins folder back in place and look once more at the closed binder on the bottom shelf. It can stay there. I lock the door, turn off the light, and let the room sit quiet and bright in my mind. My life is not loud. It is steady.